Good morning. Welcome to a rainy day on Vancouver Island. It is February the 24th and it's Garden Tour Saturday. Today's video is hosted by the one and only Grandma Sandy. Go check her out. She does fairy gardens every Thursday and garden tours every Saturday. The co-hosts for today's video are Suffolk Susie from Long Island, New York, and Patricia N. Cute. They both do garden tours on most Saturdays. Go check them out. They are awesome gardening channels. Today we're in the backyard and we're going to check out what action is happening in the garden. So this is my in-ground / raised bed vegetable garden. Let's see what's going on here. Here we have some greens I planted last fall and they're doing okay. My garden supervisor before he passed away trampled and demolished all of my bok choys, but this is what remains. I think this is mostly kale that is here, which is fine. I'm gonna do some transplanting and weeding pretty soon. Looks like somebody, probably a bug, has also been in here enjoying some of these greens. There's quite a few of them in here mixed with weeds, but lots of work to be done. Coming into this corner, pretty much the same story. A lot of kale in here mixed with a lot of weeds. I can't remember what this weed is called. If anyone can identify it, let me know in the comments. I think somebody once told me it was edible, though I have not tried to eat it myself. If you know if this is an edible weed / flower, let me know and maybe I will give it a try. Coming this way in the garden, let's zoom in a little bit. I don't know if you can see all those little sprouts that are coming up here, there, and everywhere. Those are my garlics, and they literally are everywhere. We've got garlic here, more garlic going down this way, and a whole pile of garlic at the back here. The trellises that you see here, and there's another one over here. These were where I planted peas in, let's say January. We had a warm spell before the snow and I planted peas. None of those sprouted. But these peas did. So these are just little containers that I have surrounded by leaves with a little bit of leaf mulch in the middle. As you can see, there are 4 pea sprouts in this container. Coming over this way, we have another pea sprout in another container. Any more in here? Let's dig around a little bit. I think that's all for now. I'm sure the other ones are coming soon. Here is one of my purple kales. It's putting on some new growth at the top. Very nice. This is my honeyberry, I think it's called. I can't remember. This here is a honeyberry bush. I have 2 or 3 of them in the in-ground vegetable garden, and last year was the first time I ever ate them. They are delicious and they put on growth really early in the season, I've noticed. Like, look at this. It's February 24th and they have buds that are going to open pretty soon. These are green leaves. They might even have flower beds on here too, I'm not sure, but they seem to open pretty early. And the one over here is also a honeyberry. And look at that, fresh growth, and those look like they might be the beginning of flower blooms starting all over this plant. And this is how my green kale is doing. It seems to be more vigorous than the purple varieties. Got quite a bit of that happening. Now let's take a look at what is under here. There are lettuce seedlings under here. These were planted way back in the fall, and let's see how they're doing. Are any of them still kicking around? Well, there are a few, but I do feel a lot of them either got eaten or succumbed to something. What? I do not know, actually. A lot of them are not the way they should be. Or they're just not even here, period, from what I remember planting. So I do think a bug must have gotten in here. I know it wasn't supervisor. He didn't do this before he died, but something got in here and started eating these lettuce seedlings. A little overview of the back garden. It doesn't look super active right now, but there's definitely bits of life and growth coming here, there, and everywhere. This here is an evergreen ground cover called Candy Tuff, and it is just starting to get its blooms. You can see one little flower is trying to open. It is so pretty when it blooms. It's just full of these pure white flowers with the dark green foliage. So beautiful. Here we are on the slope I showed you in the last February garden tour, or one of the last ones. Not a lot has changed, but let's take a look at one of the only things that is blooming right now. Here we have a little pansy flower. I get these all over my garden, my front garden, and they're just starting to invade the back garden, which is totally fine with me. And they are just starting to bloom, which is so exciting. A few more flowers on my arbitria, I'm not sure. Somebody tried to give me a pronunciation tip in one of my recent videos, but I'm still struggling with how to pronounce this plant name. Very lovely flowers. This is the purple arbitria that I talked about in one of my recent garden tours. It is just starting to get its flower blooms. Probably in the next tour, I'm imagining they're going to be open. I cannot wait to show you. I've actually never seen this one bloom because I didn't have this color in my garden until this season. Here is one of my bulb borders underneath the 5 variety cherry tree. Lots of bulbs are growing like mad now. And I recently put a bird feeder out here, and holy smokes, I watch the birds every single day, and this was full not even a week ago. There are these tiny little birds that have been enjoying the food. I should actually try to get a film and clip if I can. They will come here in the droves, like there'll be like 5 or 10 of them at once, and they'll work together. Sometimes one shovels the food out of here and another bunch will be on the ground. But it looks like they're hungry because they've really made a dent in this. Holy crap, I'm gonna have to refill it very soon. We've got some more bulbs at the back. We've got daylilies mixed with daffodils. There's my mushrooms. And this is my circle of life garden. Not gonna go into too many details, but this is probably enough of a reminder of who this was made for. Not a lot has changed here. And we're going to venture into an area I don't go very often on this channel. This was my secret succulent garden in the summertime. And I did a few little experiments in here. Here are just some containers I had left over from the growing season. And it looks like, I think this is a weed, but I'm not sure. But we do have some real things growing in here. Let's see if I can turn the pot. Right here, I don't know if you can see that, that is a pea sprout. I decided to try peas in containers outside. I've actually never done that. I tried it in my house and it was a failure. But I've never tried it outside. I always do it in the ground. But let's see how they do in containers. They are off to a good start this season, and I'm just using a tomato cage and a flower for trellising. Coming this way, I haven't showed this yet this season. I thought it would be boring to do a whole video about it, but these are all of the milk jugs I've started so far. I don't believe there's any sprouts, although honestly I haven't looked. It's only been a week or so since I started these. We'll take a sneak peek through the lids. I don't think there's any green happening yet. It's pretty early still. Watermelon is in here, squash, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, cantaloupe, all kinds of goodies growing, and I'm still going to start a few more of these jugs. This is my 5 variety plum tree, and look at the buds. This thing is going to burst into bloom sooner than later. Let's take a quick little look at how the cottage garden is doing. Lots of new growth happening everywhere. This is another pansy flower. You can tell it's got blooms forming, which is so exciting. Lots of tulips coming up here, there, and everywhere. Here's a Grace Ward plant with the tiniest little flower coming up. It's so cute. I just found this stray tulip. I think I must have done this. I hope it was me and not a critter that was visiting, because there's no supervisor to blame. That would have to mean it would be one of these guys. But I'm gonna blame myself this time, and that I forgot to put it in the container maybe when I made the last video. There are tulips in here, but it is possible I forgot to put this in, so let's do that now. Just put it somewhere into this container. Uh-oh, making a mess here. Didn't intend to do some gardening when I came outside, but funny how that often ends up happening when you're outside. So yeah, the container is putting on a little bit of more growth, fresh growth on the pansies. A little bit yellowing here, but I'm not too worried about that. We'll see how it develops. And lots of green happening in this bulb border. This plant here that is the most lush, this is called leopard's bane. It gets these daisy-like yellow flowers early to mid, I'd say mid-ish spring on the earlier side, mixed with some daffodils, mixed with grape hyacinths that you can't see yet, but oh yes you can. There's one, a really tiny one, just starting to bloom at the back. So exciting. That's gonna be all for today's video. I had no intention of filming today, didn't plan on gardening today, but gonna go wash my hands, gonna edit this video, and hopefully get it up before I go work my evening shift. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon with another video. Bye for now.